What up, everybody? Had Battlefield Hardline for a few days now, since Monday, June 9th. And it's been a couple days for me experimenting, playing Heist and Blood Money consistently, back and forth, and earning a feel for the game. Now, I'm going to let you know my thoughts on Battlefield Hardline. Now, I want to start off by saying, this game just feels good, right? Now, I know the beta, so what I see now is pretty much a rough draft of what the final verdict is going to be. Now, this is just my opinion. I could be wrong on this one, but it feels like the tempo of the game feels like it's slightly faster, just ever so slightly. You know what I'm saying? I play a lot of Battlefield 4, so the tempo increase is just something I noticed and feel, right? Also, I think in the beta there is no very little suppression with the guns, so I feel like I kill a lot more often than not. You know, in Battlefield 4, I have instances where it kind of felt like there was hosting abilities or hosting advantages with certain players. Like, gotta be certain people where I shoot him in a head-to-head conference, and no matter what, maybe he was just that much better than me. I kind of doubt it, but he would just always take me down. And, you know, occasionally I run into matches in Battlefield 4 like this. And Hardline, I didn't feel no distinct advantage that anybody has. Now, this could be a product of a closed beta, so it's not open worldwide. But I feel like I had better gun exchange, outcomes. Like, if you shoot me or I shoot you first, as long as my aim is not too, wonky, I feel like I got the heads up on. And then I still ran into the problem where I kill you and you still kill me, but it seemed like it was toned down in a sense. Like, I didn't feel like a lot of the gun battles that I ran into that, we shoot each other simultaneously. Obviously, one of us got to be shooting the other person first. And then I died and you die from basically both of us shooting at the same time. Now, that's kind of annoying in Battlefield 4, but it is what it is on our front, because, you can get a last-minute headshot, but I don't know, the chance of that happening while I'm already blasting you is just kind of slim to me. The biggest improvement, the most noticeable improvement in the game is obviously the drive mechanics. I feel like it's been reworked from the ground up, and it feels like a arcadish, racing style game. Like, they took the drive mechanics from, let's say, for a game like Cruise USA, maybe a little bit better, and it actually feels good. So when you get in the fast cars like the police cruiser or the sedan, and you get that speed going on, I can actually control the vehicle with accuracy. Like, I can actually really control it without having this funny, weird style that Battlefield usually have with vehicle control. So, I can only imagine how Battlefield 4 would have been like with this type of vehicle control, especially playing Conquest and open, gigantic open maps like, rogue transmission and so forth and so on. I'm liking that. Also, the cops and robbers theme, I think it feels really good. Like, I like the cops and robber things about it. Like, it just kind of adds, it kind of introduces new modes, like, obviously the heist and the blood money, You obviously, if you're the robbers, you're basically trying to get the vault, which is heist, which is it's like basically the cops and robbers version of Rush. You're the robbers. They'll start shooting next to the, to the vault, which is the money. And then, the cops are there to bum rush you and try to stop you from planting the bomb and rushing the money over. Usually in Rush, you plant the bomb, you make your advances, and go forth and so on. In Heist, you go to the vault, you plant the bomb, you take the money, and you have to extract the money to an extraction zone, which is kind of, it's really interesting, and it plays out really well. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole theme of it goes out great. You notice things, a few things they added in the beta, like a tool called Survivalist. Now, I made note of that, and I think it's kind of good and bad, Say, for example, in Battlefield 4, because I'm just going to compare the changes between, Hardline to Battlefield 4. And, you usually depend on the assault class to revive you. You get what I'm saying? So in Hardline, they add a survivalist where you don't have to rely on anybody to revive you. If you die, you can effectively revive yourself, and you have a little time to think about it. So if an enemy kills you and he just runs off and forget about you, you'll give yourself adrenaline or whatever he's surviving with, and you'll get up and essentially kill him. So I feel like a lot of players nowadays, especially me, like when I play Battlefield 4 and I have a team that when you constantly die, but you don't have your team playing as a unit, and you always got to freaking start from the beginning, I feel like a lot of the Hardline community, when this game gets released to the masses, is going to primarily use survivalists instead of having the, in Battlefield 4 there was a defibrillator, and Hardline they just call it revive, that revive needle. So I'm not gonna lie, and then once I realized, hey, what's this, survivalist, I didn't want to use the revive tool because I feel like, you know what, screw everybody else. I'd rather get myself off the ground because 9 times out of 10, people are not going to revive me unless you with a specific team that you're playing with. So I think, I don't know if that's such a great idea because it's obviously going to subtract even more from the teamwork that should be there as a shooter. Now, I like the fact that the perk system or the field upgrades is not team-based anymore. It's not heavily based on, you know, spotting enemies or following orders and getting the spot bonus kill from your squad, and then if you get squad wiped, you lose it. I like the fact that when you do get an upgrade, you have a choice to go to, you know, left or right. So, say for example, if my upgrade becomes available, I hold, for the PS4 right about now, I hold the R1 button. That's usually the button you give out, you know, voice commands like I need ammo, I need medic, need a ride, and it'll give you the option to choose, you know, let's say flak, you know, blast resistance or suppression, bullet resistance, you know? I can actually choose that and then move forward from that point on, and then I won't have to worry about I'm the last man in the squad, do not get squad wiped. I thought that was pretty good, like, cause it was really annoying that I can't really enjoy my field upgrades in Battlefield 4 unless you have a really solid team. You know, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. You know, 9 times out of 10 when I play Battlefield 4 online with strangers that I didn't know, they rarely, it was so rare that I seen a mic. So half the time I just had, if I seen last man in squad, I just had to basically keep myself alive until my teammates spawn. That's not even including if they're in their loadout trying to make alterations, and I'm like, oh, come on, spawn. I don't want to lose my field upgrades. So that's that. I think I'll note that they need to tone down. I feel like the Levolution on that one map, High Tension, that we got in the beta, needs to be toned down. I feel like it's a little over dramatic. So say for example, if I'm not next to the crane, my screen should not be vibrating like it's the end of the world when I'm across the map, nowhere near the crane. I feel that if I'm closer and closer to the crane, it should be like proximity based. Like, you know, the closer I am, the more intense the vibrations will be because I'm like in an effective area of the crane. But if I'm not, I shouldn't feel that impact as much because, you know, I'm thinking, you know, if I'm in a building, if you play heist where the B extraction zone is, I'm thinking like, what the hell's going on? You know, my first play session, I'm thinking that building's coming down, like kind of like Siege is saying hi, but it wasn't. So I'm like, why the hell did my screen, you know, rattle so dramatically? And I come to find out in the main area where you go plant the bombs, that's where the crane was. So, you know, I think they should tone that down. I would love to see like you know, since the vehicle modes are so refined, I would love to see a kind of a chase mode, you know, like basically strictly vehicles. You know, maybe like just include a map or some type of mode where you have to drive around, the cops literally have to chase you, just gun you down in vehicles, you know, like that. Just that'll be pretty interesting to see in Battlefield Hardline. So overall, I must say, like, I'm really enjoying this game. Like, it feels really good. You know, the gunplay, I don't know. Like I said, it could be, since it's a closed beta, it's not a lot of people on the server. I feel like I'm having not a lot of issues with the beta, and I'm liking how it feels, you know? I'm liking the recoil. It's still, the character flinch is still there, you know? I kind of wish they would tone that down a few notches, because I feel like that hurts my accuracy. Not the recoil from the gun, that's fine. You know, I like the fact that I have to master the recoil in the Battlefield series, but I've noticed a lot in Battlefield where you miss out on a kill is when you try to shoot an enemy and he does get hit, but his head starts flinching left and right. You know, he's hunching over and he's doing like a funny wobble. So if you don't know how to basically traject or follow that wobble of him getting shot, it kind of tends to throw off your accuracy and make it harder to catch the kill. Now, that's still very much present in Battlefield Hardline, but if they can tone that down a few and make it where, you know, he can still flinch, but just not as hard to make your shots more accurate, I think that'll be like a nice little refinement in the series. Overall, I think I'm going to pick this up. You know, I'm a huge fan of the Battlefield 4, so what I'm seeing in this beta is basically impressing me. Like, you know, the game just feels good. I like it. I like the fact that you can use a command center, let's say for the cops or the robbers. I like that idea of a command center where you don't have to have a teammate inside of the vehicle. You know, that command center can be placed at a certain location, and that can be used as a permanent spawn point. Great idea. That's a great idea. That's kind of a pain in the ass in the Battlefield. Like, if I try to spawn off, if it's not a person in my squad, if they're in a different squad, they have to be actively in the vehicle. As soon as they step out, it's like, no, none of my teammates are alive. I gotta start back from scratch one. The idea of the command center, I love that. That was a great idea. Now, this is what I don't think should make the final product. The vehicle damage is just too easy. It's too easy to destroy a vehicle. I can effectively walk up to a sedan, take a gun like my M16 and unload all 30 bullets, and I can just destroy that vehicle with ease. I don't think vehicles should be destroyed that easily. That's just way too easy, because I feel like the advantage of me getting away in a car, yeah, I can take a hit or two. If you shoot me in the head or if you shoot the driver directly, fine, so be it. I deserve that death. But from you just shooting a car as I'm driving off, you can easily let go of those 30 bullets before I get out of your gun's effective range. So that just makes it a little too easy. So if you drive by with 4 guys, I say, oh shit, a vehicle by, I light the vehicle up, I get the vehicle destroyed, and I get a multi-kill behind that. Way too easy. I'd say it should take at least about a clip and a half, maybe 2 clips. Tone that down a little bit. I just feel like that's a little bit too cheap. Because I get in the vehicle and I feel like I just die too easy. Because somebody sees it driving by, I'm like, oh shit, I'll just get out of the vehicle myself and just gun the vehicle down. It's so easy to kill. I feel like it's an easy kill. More so than actually trying to shoot the guy himself. It's a big moving target. Overall though, Battlefield Hardline is definitely something that I will be purchasing once released. Now, here's an interesting thing I've read also. All the changes and benefits and all the patches that Battlefield 4, or most people want to call it Patchfield 4 because it's been going on, these crazy patches from launch day, all of that is cross-compatible with Hardline. So all the enhances and fixes that Battlefield has been experiencing will automatically carry over to Hardline. So here's hoping to a smooth launch, a non-buggy product, and hopefully you will gain some of the trust and faith of the fans you lost during Battlefield 4 EA. Hopefully Visceral will do a great job, and with the news of hearing that all of the changes from Battlefield 4 will carry over to Hardline, it should have a smooth launch. If anybody else here watching this video played the beta and like what they see, please express how you feel about Battlefield Hardline. Even if you probably watch other YouTubers or maybe watch the official trailer, what do you think about Battlefield Hardline? Do you think it's something that you're interested in, or you still hung up on the plague of Battlefield 4 and all the issues, the technical issues the game has had? Let me know in that comment section below. This is Jay Silva from S and Tech. I'm out, y'all. Later.